the Home Secretary has made it very clear that she hopes to use these threats against other countries with much larger numbers involved. And it shows you that this kind of Donald Trump style threat does work.
I just wanted to focus a bit on immigration, because there's been quite an interesting development. The Home Secretary says that threats of visa sanctions appear to have worked after a third African country agreed to take back their nationals who are in the UK illegally, including criminals. In December, following threats from Shabana Mahmood, Namibia and Angola agreed to cooperate on returns. The Home Secretary has now also secured cooperation from the Democratic Republic of Congo. More than 3,000 people from these countries are now expected to be returned, with charter flights already underway. Well, let's now speak with Matt Dathan. He is Home Affairs Editor at The Times. Hello, Matt.
Good afternoon.
So how significant is this move and these agreements?
I think it's quite significant, actually, because it shows you that this threat of visa sanctions against countries does work in practice. And although the numbers we're talking about with these three countries is quite low, I mean, we're talking about just over 3,000 people who now could have their removal fast-tracked. They've been waiting to be deported to those three countries. The Home Secretary has made it very clear that she hopes to use these threats against other countries with much larger numbers involved. And it shows you that this kind of Donald Trump style threat does work. And when I talk about the Trump style policy, this is exactly what he did in his first term, with varying degrees of success, it must be said.
And what's the sort of, how's it landed, this announcement? Has there been a lot of pushback against it, or are people accepting of it?
I think this is one of the few areas where actually the government is not facing a kind of a backlash on immigration from its backbenchers. I think there are bigger battles to be fought by Labour MPs, especially those which look to make wide-ranging changes to the asylum laws and also indefinitely to remain status as well.
And look, these are obviously three countries. How do those countries impact the overall figures of people coming here illegally? Are they going to significantly reduce the numbers, or are these low-hanging fruits? Are there other countries which there does actually need to be a lot more work done on?
I think these countries, although they were perhaps the more resistant of the countries in agreeing to take back their nationals, they certainly don't make up very many numbers in terms of migrants coming on small boats or foreign criminals in the UK. But I think what the Home Office was wanting to do was to show proof of concept, if you like, to show that this policy of threatening countries does work, not only for its own practical work, but also as an opening salvo, if you like, to other bigger countries. And we're talking about India, Pakistan and Bangladesh would be countries that Britain has found it very hard to agree cooperation on returns, especially on foreign criminals. And but the Home Secretary would ideally want to play the same sort of policy with those countries, but it would be quite risky diplomatically to be threatening the likes of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, given how close our countries are diplomatically, but also how personally close our countries are. There's obviously a lot of families who come from those three countries to the UK to visit family here, or to come and work or to study.
And you're so right, and we're very proud of our sort of trade relations with those countries, particularly India, which is becoming a sort of bit of an economic powerhouse. But how does Shabana Mahmood then navigate dealing with these countries? Are these the kind of issues when there are big, bilateral meetings, when our Prime Minister meets Modi? Is immigration on the agenda? I know India has very much pushed to have better and more flexible visa arrangements, but is the other side discussed from our point of view?
It is certainly discussed on official level. I'm not. I mean, Keir Starmer will, in our readouts, will always say that they discussed migration returns when he meets Indian Prime Minister. But I think with India, it's particularly a problem where you see them being openly saying, "Oh yeah, we were happy to take back visa overstayers or people who have no right to be in the UK." But what Home Office officials say is when they actually come to the practicalities of trying to return an individual, India suddenly says, well, we don't have any record of them holding Indian citizenship, or their paperwork is lost. And so the Home Office say off the record to me that bureaucratically, India makes it very hard to do that. And with Pakistan, we've had lots of problems trying to return foreign criminals, most famously, probably the two of the biggest ringleaders in the Rochdale grooming scandal, who have been awaiting deportation to Pakistan for years, but denounced their Pakistani citizenship, knowing that because they have dual British Pakistan citizenship, they would be illegal to, or unlawful to, return to Pakistan. So that shows you just the difficulty diplomatically, but also practically, of returning people to these big countries.
And look, just before I let you go, Matt, just run us through where we are in terms of direction of travel on legal migration, because it looks like the figures are coming down. And where are we in terms of small boat arrivals and illegal arrivals?
Yeah, well, January saw the lowest number since 2021, sorry, in terms of small boat migrants, but the Home Office are not hailing that as a victory. They're saying that's very much down to the weather. They're also making big, well, they're shouting a lot today about the number of people returned overall. They said that they've returned nearly 60,000 people since Labour came into government. That includes voluntary returns of illegal migrants and foreign criminals, as well as forced returns. But I mean, if you think about the numbers coming on small boats in that same period since Labour entered power, there's more actually have come on small boats alone, 65,000. So that shows you the scale of the challenge. In terms of legal migration, the numbers came down significantly last year, and the numbers look like they will continue to come down because Labour, on top of the restrictions already imposed on foreign students and foreign care workers, Labour have brought in further restrictions, and it plans to go even further this year with restricting the ability for people to stay, for example. So that the net migration, we will get the next figure in March for the year to December, and I think that is going to show net migration to coming down to the lowest levels, if not zero, well, since certainly before Brexit, potentially record numbers since the early 2000s, before the expansion of the EU Common Travel Area.
Gosh, that's so interesting. Matt, thank you so much for your time. Always good to catch up with you. That's Matt Dathan, Home Affairs correspondent at The Times.